Have you ever noticed that some people do not need to say much to affect the whole room? They walk in and something changes, not because they are loud, not because they are trying to impress anyone, but because their energy feels settled. There is no desperation around them, no hidden panic, no need to prove, no constant reaching for approval. They seem to carry a kind of invisible spaciousness, and without even knowing why, you feel calmer around them. This is what many people call a high vibration. But the mistake we often make is thinking that vibration is something we have to force. We think we need to become more positive, more spiritual, more successful, more magnetic, more healed. So we add more practices, more affirmations, more routines, more information, more self-improvement. But what if changing your vibration is not really about adding more? What if it is about removing what is blocking the natural energy? Because your true state is not anxiety, it is not fear, it is not contraction, it is not the constant feeling that you are behind in life. Those are learned states, they are layers, they are patterns your nervous system adapted to. They are old ways of staying safe. And the path to a higher vibration is not about pretending those layers are not there. It is about seeing them, feeling them, and gradually letting them fall away. This is the path of unbecoming. Not becoming a new person, not performing a better version of yourself, but unbecoming the version of you that was built from fear, protection, approval, survival, and old pain. Because sometimes the person you are trying so hard to improve is not actually the real you. It is the identity you created in order to survive. Years ago, I met someone who changed the way I understood this completely. He was not trying to appear wise. He was not dressed in any way. But there was something about him, a deep stillness, a calmness. When he spoke, it felt as though every word came from somewhere settled. When he listened, you felt seen, without being analyzed. Just being near him made my own mind slow down. It was not charisma in the usual sense, it was presence. And I remember wondering, what has he done to become like this? What practice does he use that I don't know? I expected a method, a mantra, a powerful visualization, a secret discipline. But his answer was much simpler. He said he had spent years learning how to sit with himself, not to improve himself, not to escape himself, not to manifest a better identity, but to watch, to notice the thoughts that pass through his mind without becoming them, to release attachment to the stories he had carried, to stop feeding the identity built from fear. And that was when I understood something important. His energy was not powerful because he had added something. It was powerful because he was no longer carrying so much. He had removed the noise, the striving, the inner argument, the attachment to who he thought he had to be. He had not built a high vibration. He had uncovered it. This is the first truth about changing your vibration. You don't raise your vibration by fighting yourself into a better state. You raise it by releasing the resistance that is keeping your natural energy contracted. Most people are carrying a lifetime of emotional weight. Old beliefs, old shame, old fear, old memories, old identities. The need to be liked, the need to be chosen, the need to prove your worth, the need to stay safe by controlling everything. And all of this takes energy to maintain. It takes energy to defend your wounds. It takes energy to keep repeating your story. It takes energy to stay angry at the past. It takes energy to keep scanning the future for danger. So when people say they feel drained, heavy, stuck, or low vibrational, often what they are really feeling is the exhaustion of carrying an identity that is no longer true. A higher vibration is not a personality you put on. It is what remains. When you stop feeding everything, that is not really you. This is why the desperate search for a higher vibration can sometimes become the very thing that blocks it. Because if you are constantly chasing peace, your nervous system receives the message that peace is not here. If you are constantly trying to become worthy, you reinforce the belief that you are not worthy now. If you are constantly reaching for a better self, you stay identified with the self that believes it is not enough. This is the paradox. The more desperately you chase a higher state, the more you confirm the feeling of lack. True change begins when you stop trying to escape the present moment and finally meet what is here. Not dramatically, not perfectly. You begin by noticing the mind. The mind is always talking. It comments, it predicts, it remembers, it compares, it warns, it builds stories, and because the voice is happening inside you, you assume it must be you. But your thoughts are not always truth. They are often survival signals. You see, the mind's primary function is not to make you peaceful. It is to keep you safe. So it scans for danger. It replays old pain. It imagines future rejection. It warns you before anything has even happened. And when you believe every thought, you live inside a constant survival state. This state feels dense. It feels contracted. It feels like fear, urgency, anxiety, pressure, and control. This is what many people experience as a lower vibration, not because they are bad, not because they are failing spiritually, but because their energy is trapped in unconscious identification with thought. So the first practice is simple. Become the watcher. Instead of trying to stop every thought, observe it. Instead of fighting the mind, notice it. A thought appears, you see it. Fear appears, you see it. A memory appears, you see it. The urge to control appears, you see it. And slowly, a space opens. There is the thought, and then there is the awareness that sees the thought. That awareness is closer to who you are. This is where your vibration begins to shift, because every time you observe a thought without becoming it, you take energy away from the old pattern. You are no longer feeding the noise, obeying every fear, letting the mind decide who you are. Imagine your mind is like a radio that has been playing in the background for years. Old stories, warnings, regrets, predictions, static. For a long time, you thought the only option was to argue with the broadcast or force it to change. But presence does something different. It simply lowers the volume. You realize you are not the broadcast. You are the one listening. And the moment you know that, you are already freer than before. This is why moments of flow feel so good. When an athlete is in the zone, they are not overthinking every movement. When a musician is lost in the music, they are not mentally controlling every note. When you are walking in nature, dancing, painting, gardening, or creating something from the heart, there are moments when you forget yourself. And in that self-forgetting, your energy opens, the mind steps aside, the body relaxes, life moves through you. That is a high vibrational state. Thank you for watching. See you soon.